So welcome back to our conversation about the human animal and the human predicament. Today I'd like to talk about the frog in warming water. And we've all heard the story a million times, right? The frog is in the pan of water and the temperature keeps going up slightly. And over time that frog adapts to his circumstances and the water continues to get hotter. And what happens? The frog is eventually cooked alive. And we use this metaphor to describe any kind of condition where a person is in a setting that gets progressively worse over time. Now, one thing to know about this metaphor is not entirely accurate because a real frog in a pan of warming water will actually jump out of the water. Frogs are smart enough to do that. And that brings up the obvious question for us, is that are humans smarter than frogs? And that's not altogether clear right now, because here we are in this modern predicament that's literally getting hotter day by day, but it's also becoming more challenging because it becomes more stressful, more complex, more difficult to manage as time goes on. That's our predicament. So if you're a coach, a therapist, a teacher, a trainer, a parent, you have to take this metaphor into account. Because here we are, your students, your clients, your athletes, your patients are all in this predicament. What is your objective? What's your educational objective? What's your therapeutic objective right now? There's a strong impulse. We'd like to help people. We want to help people. We want to help them do better in their circumstances. So we teach them to adapt. This is a popular approach, right? We want people to feel better. We want them to feel more peaceful. So we give them strategies and practices that they can do to help them feel better. They can feel calmer and more at ease in the world, more adapted to the world. That seems to make sense. But what if the world is becoming progressively more difficult and progressively more dangerous? Are these people better off? And the answer, I think, in a lot of cases is no. Because if that's all you do, if you train yourself and your people simply to adapt to an environment, a situation that is progressively more difficult and more dangerous, then what have you done? Have you helped these people? And the answer may very well be no. Their predicament now is deeper and more difficult than it was before. This also calls into question some of our physical responses to our setting, to our predicament. So let's say you or your patients, your clients, your athletes are experiencing anxiety or depression or some kind of neurological turmoil. Do you want that to go away? Now, the shallow answer is yes, we want those things to go away and we want to help people feel better. But what if those conditions, what if those afflictions are simply a product of the system that they're living in? Do you want those things to go away? And the paradoxical answer here may actually be no, because that is information. That is information for the animal, and as trainers and teachers and coaches, that's information for us as well. That's telling us that the human animal is under pressure and we need to do something different. Simply easing somebody's stress burden may make their situation worse. So in fact, getting back to the frog, if you're a trainer or a coach for the frog in warming water, what do you do? Do you train that frog to adapt? No, you train that frog to fight. You train that frog to fight back against the conditions he or she is living in. Train that frog to jump out of the water. Train that frog to fight back, to be an activist against their circumstances. Now, I know a lot of people feel really uncomfortable with this because we are conflict averse. We don't like to fight and we don't like to teach people to fight. But I think we need to do this. This is a call for activism. This is a call to help people understand and fight back against their circumstances. Because simply adapting may not be the right course here. I think we need to reevaluate our objectives, teach people to be strong, teach people to jump out of the water. And in our conversations to come, we're going to talk more about fighting, we're going to talk more about martial artistry, and we're going to talk more about living with some of these emotions and these afflictions that we have. We may not want to get rid of those things. That's good information that tells us that something is wrong with our system. So I look forward to digging in a little bit deeper.